Hello everyone. Today we are going to work with infrared remote and sensors. Okay, so first things first, we'll need an Arduino. Yes, we will also need an IR sensor. So I'll just type IR over here and IR remote. So IR remote, we'll bring it in, and second is we'll bring in IR sensor, and IR sensor is already here. It's here. So there is no connection between the remote and the rest of the device. So remote is separate. Yes, of course, the remote has to be separate. But the IR sensor is basically sensing whatever is being sent out by the remote, and that will give input to the Arduino. Okay. So let's connect the system with the IR. So my video is going to be in two parts now. One part will be to figure out what each of these buttons actually mean to Arduino. So that means if I press a 0 or a 1 or a 2 or a 3, how how does the Arduino recognize it as? And secondly, in the second video, we will actually work on those numbers or on how it recognizes it. For example, how does in this video we are going to do how does the system recognize a 1 as? So if I press a 1, what will the Arduino recognize it as? It is not going to be 1, of course. It is going to be a big number, but we'll figure that out. So first thing is recognition. So let us recognize things. How do I connect this IR sensor now? This IR sensor has three pins. It has out and ground and power. So as you know, we can connect the various. Say power is going to be connected to power. Let's connect it to 5 volts. The ground is going to be connected to ground. Let's connect it to ground. Let's color them properly. Let's color this properly. Let's connect this particular out to a digital pin. So we'll connect this to a digital pen. So this digital pen is going to be, say, number 12. I've actually programmed it as number 12, so you can use the same. Alright, so these are the three pins that we basically require. So we need the ground and power, and we need the output from this. Output from this is actually going to pin number 12 as an input to Arduino. This is all we basically need for the working of the remote. Okay. How do we code it now? I've already coded it, so you can see now how things are happening. First things first, we need a library, and I'm using IRremote.h. Now, please remember to put IR as capital and remote as small and everything. So, as it is capital small, you need to figure it out. Oh, I have written. The code is not big, but I just need you to understand things. I have you because we are using the pin number 12 over here to connect the infrared sensor. So I've used an int variable called IR pin, and that is number 12. Now, first things first, we need to create an object. For example, just when we create a servo, we create a servo object, right? We say servo, my servo, and then we say my servo dot attach and stuff like that. So similarly here also we have a class called IRRECB. So please write it as exactly as it is, IR capital, RECB in small. And this is the object that we create. You can name it as anything. You can name it as ABC. I have named it as IR underscore OBJ. And in brackets we specify the pin number to which it is connected to. So it is pin number is 12. So I've specified the variable over here. Okay. Now in the setup function, I have basically for the remote, I have just used one command, which is this one. So the object that was created was IROBJ, and I write IROBJ, whatever spelling exactly as I have created over here, dot enable IR in. So that means I have enabled it basically. I have enabled the infrared object. I'm using the serial communication, so I've written serial.begin. So that's it. Okay. Next thing. So setup is done. So what happens when somebody presses a button over here? So if when somebody presses a button, IR obj.decode function basically returns a true. That means there is something to be decoded. Okay, so that means if I don't press a button, IROBJ will be false. So the loop will execute just uh, without executing anything inside the if, because this is false. If I don't execute, if I don't input any button, if I don't press any button. So the moment I press a button, IROBJ.decode function will return true, and it will enter the if statement. Okay, this block. All right. So what I have written on, I have created a variable called value, and I have denoted it as of type auto. Now please remember, if I do not know what kind of variable a variable should be, I can specify an auto there. For example, over here, if I have written an int, if I don't know what type it should be, I'll just write auto. It can just look at whatever is on the right hand side, it will automatically create the variable of that particular type. Okay, so that means now because we see on the right hand side it is a number 12, which is an int value, IR pin will automatically be created as an int variable. Why? Because I have specified an auto here. Auto in C++ actually means create of the variable of the type which is on the right hand side. So I'll leave it as it is. Over here, I do not know what is the variable of this kind. I know it is an unsigned long int, but if I don't know, what will I do? I'll simply create a variable called value or whatever variable and create it as auto type. So it will automatically take whatever is on the right hand side, it will automatically make the variable of that type. Now, on the right hand side, you are going to use exactly as it is. On the left side of the dot, I have used IROBJ. This is the same object that I created earlier. So you'll say IROBJ. If you have created as ABC, you will write ABC dot. And on the right hand side of this dot, write it exactly as it is. You will write decoded IR data, capital small, please make sure it is exactly as it is, dot decoded raw data. So basically it will take the raw data from the number one pin, number one button, and that will be stored into a variable called value, and we are displaying that value. We will see on the serial monitor now. Okay. And what is IROBJ.resume do? It will actually empty the buffer which contains this particular number. If I pressed 1, it will empty that buffer and it will get ready for the next button to be pressed from the remote. So we need to write this also. So this whole thing, in fact, there are basically two lines which are required. One is this line and one is this line. Serial.print is only displaying it, but it is of importance to us at the moment. Delay is delaying the loop in between. It's only 10 milliseconds at the moment. Okay, let's see what happens now. When I press a button, this will return true and it will enter the if statement. It will figure out what button was pressed, and whatever button was pressed, its value will be stored into a variable called value, and that value will be displayed on the serial monitor. Okay, so the basic idea of writing this particular code is to figure out what will actually be the value if I press 1, if I press 0, if I press 2, if I press 3, if I press the power button, if I press the volume up or volume down or up or down or whatever it is, what value will be pressed? So I need to figure that out first. Otherwise, how will my system know key, the zero has been pressed. Okay, let's start the simulation. Let's start the simulation and let's start the serial monitor. There is nothing on the serial monitor because I have not pressed anything. So let me press something. Let me press a 0. So when I press a 0, it has now generated a number. It has generated a number 4077698816. It's a large number. Yes. So this number is generated if I press a 0. If I press the 0 again the same number will be generated. You can see that. If I press a 1, a different number is generated. If I press a 2, a different number is generated. So guys, you need to store these numbers somewhere. So let me clear the serial monitor and press for 0 and 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and 5 and 6 and 7 and 8 and 9. So I have got 9 lines, and each line corresponds to each of those buttons from 0 to 9. So that means this number corresponds to a 0, this number corresponds to a 1, this number corresponds to a 2, and so on and so forth. Okay, so what I'll do is I'll copy this entire line, the whole bunch. I'll copy it into Notepad or Microsoft Word or anywhere safe, so that when I write my actual program, it will actually use those numbers. We will use those numbers into that program. Okay, so I'm copying this and I'm pasting it into Notepad. I hope this part of the program is clear to you. This is a simple program. You can write it as it is. Okay, and create the circuit also exactly as it is, and that's it. All right. Uh, I'll stop this program now, and then we can figure out in the next program what to do in the next video.